what's up?
Hey Jeff, how we doing?
Oh, pretty good. We made it to episode 2.
Yes, we did. I feel more comfortable. I was actually thinking about it, so I'm here, so excited. So what do we have now?
Well, today we're going to talk to Bak from the FeedBak Podcast, and he's kind of built a brand around his name, Bak. And I'll let him do the talking, but basically he covers the Austin City nightlife, and it's really unique the way he's done it. And I don't know, I thought it was a pretty cool conversation. So what do you do? I mean, it's the weekend. What are you going to be doing later on tonight?
Whoa, you really want to know what I'm going to be doing later tonight?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's put this in perspective. I'm going to take out my clothes.
Okay.
And I'm going to breastfeed my child.
Oh, you had everybody hanging there for a minute.
Yes, I have a 3-month-old little girl. So, yeah, that's right. I'm going to stay home. Nothing exciting to do. What about you?
Well, my son just turned like 9 months, and we woke up this morning with him staring at us. He had climbed up the crib and stood himself up. So first time doing that was pretty cool.
That's scary a little bit.
A little bit.
Was that 3 a.m. in the morning?
No. Luckily, he waited until about 7.
Oh, hey, 7?
That's not bad at all.
Thank you.
He's been going through a lot of teething lately. He got all 4 up top and the 2 at the bottom, and it's been like one after another. But he's a good kid. Like, he doesn't complain much.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about it. My schedules are 1:45, 3:45, sometimes 5. But that's all right. I'm enjoying it.
So I guess what we're saying is we have absolutely no nightlife.
No. To be honest. No,
Right.
we don't.
Well, that's part of growing up, I suppose.
Yeah.
But at one time.
One time. Tell me about one time.
But at one time, I used to frequent parties and clubs, but I, of course, did it from the other end. I always preferred to be the entertainer than the entertainee, so I DJ'd a lot of parties and stuff in high school and fresh out of high school. And one time, when my grandfather died, he left us some money. Mm-hmm. And my younger brother tells me, you know what we should do? This iPod thing just came out. Let's invest in Apple.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah. But nah, I'm going to spend all my money on some DJ equipment and become a famous DJ and just make all kinds of money DJing parties by playing what I want.
Okay.
It didn't work. So that was just a bad decision.
Well,
we would have been rich.
Yeah.
If we only invested in Apple.
And this was in San Antonio, right?
That was in San Antonio already. Yeah, it was
cool.
High school.
Cool. So in the other hand, I was in probably 10 years ago, New York. So always pretending that I was just visiting. So if I had somebody that needed to date, kind of serious, I was like, no, I'm only here for a week.
Right.
Visiting clubs and after hours.
That's probably a pretty good excuse to use.
Yeah, you have to say that.
Yeah.
You never stay here so long. You're only there for a week and that's it. Yeah. So if you don't want any serious commitment, but by that time.
For sure. You kill it quick.
Exactly. No, I'm only here for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. But at least you kind of bought something, right? So did you had the equipment, so you didn't? I
bought all kinds of stuff that I didn't need. I mean, I had concert speakers and 6,000 watts of amperage. I mean, it was just crazy. I don't know what I was thinking. All I really needed for myself was the turntables and some small speakers, But I just went crazy. I did.
Oh.
I still got some lights. You see
Good.
the lights over
Yeah, I see it. They're cool. Oh, didn't we use that for some of the kids' birthday?
Yeah, I still. If I do a party, I might still break out the lights. I got them, so may as well.
Well,
right?
I actually back in my days, I took advantage of the happy hours. I mean, thinking that I was doing good, being there early, but then you ended up actually wasting more money because if one drink costs $5, you think, okay, let me get 5 of them.
That's right.
Before 8 p.m. But the thing that you don't know, they're watered down, so it's not that as strong as if you were to use a regular beer.
On top of that, after a few drinks, your judgment starts to wear off,
exactly.
And more and more drinks sound better.
Thank you. So that was my investment.
All right, so have you gone out much since you got to San Antonio?
Not really.
Not
Just
really.
Six Flags, SeaWorld, Splashdown, family oriented.
Yeah, the
tell
zoo.
me. The zoo.
For sure. Yeah, I hear you. The museum, maybe.
Yeah,
You know?
that's right.
Yeah,
Museum. Take advantage of Tuesdays. It's free.
for sure. So then let's rewind.
Exactly.
Boogie Down Bronx had to be fun.
Exactly.
Come
Oh
on.
my goodness. Well, that was more like city. So New York is really big, and one block is about how many feet? 500 more, 700 feet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
So if you have been in New York, you know how far they are. So there was one night that, of course, I was bar hopping, and then for a minute, then it was no clubs, no restaurants open, and if there was one, you needed to pay a high price to get in because it's expensive, So
Right.
you don't want to do that, especially when I was in college working 2 jobs.
Oh yeah.
So then I needed to be so bad. So the biggest thing I know, where's the subway? No subway. Okay, so what? Subway, by the way, in a train station. Because at the beginning, I didn't know what subway. I thought it was a restaurant, like the subway restaurant. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So for people who don't know.
Oh, so hold on. So you saw a sign that says Subway.
Yes.
You thought you were gonna go pee in a restaurant.
Exactly.
And it was a stairwell leading
you.
to the third rail.
To the third rail, exactly. So
Gotcha.
no. So then my next option was pee on the street. So I did proudly pee in New York.
In the street.
In the streets of New York. There was nobody watching me, I think. I hope.
Yeah. Well, you see, this is where problems come because
problem?
nobody wants to let you
There's
in.
echo green. That does go
Yeah,
green.
That's true. That's true. It's natural.
Yeah.
But how come they won't let you pee? It's like you're walking down the city block. Every store you walk, oh no, you must buy. Why? I just want to pee.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it was not late night too, so
Yeah.
I don't think I was not going to find
there's
a store
Not too
open.
many.
No.
It's the city that never sleeps.
Yeah. Well, true, but no, in that case.
Some people do take a nap.
Yep.
That's good.
So what was the crazy thing that you have done back in your days, nighttime, kind of?
I couldn't even begin to list the crazy things I did at night in San Antonio. Oh my goodness! In the 90s, don't even get me started. But I could talk about a couple of the parties, man. I used to hang around a few DJ friends. Everybody kind of did their own thing. Like my buddy Damien, he mixed drum and bass and jungle, and man, you wouldn't believe the way he could blend them beats. Like I had a hard time trying to, like with the beat blending and stuff. Like I hung around some techno dudes, and they could teach me because it's like you mix house is like.
We should play something here later on. Do you have some records? Like,
Oh, I got records. Yeah, we can play with some records.
cool.
Look at all that vinyl. That's what I live on. But anyways, like I never could get that beat matching down, except for that house stuff. Like my buddy showed me how to mix house, but that's like mixing with. It's not that hard to do.
Let me try that. No, not that. That's
Perfect.
Anyways, go ahead.
This was during the early like rave days when the raves were starting to come in. So we did some pretty crazy parties here locally. One that I remember, we set up off of Foster Road, and I know the house isn't there anymore because I've looked. But Foster Road, there was a small house on a big lot. And that lot was packed full of cars like you wouldn't believe. And I think that they said they stopped counting heads when they reached 200 people at a house.
Okay.
It was wild. A lot of people on whatever.
That's what I was questioning.
Everything.
Okay.
And I never tried like many drugs outside of, like when I was in high school, I smoked pot, whatever. But when I was at that party, I remember these dudes gave us like X, and I had never done that before, never done it since. I didn't get to experience like all the stuff that people talk about, but what I did experience is a guy that never wants to dance. I was dancing my ass off.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to tell Gabby to give you that now. Where did they sell that?
I don't know.
Let me give that to my husband then now.
It was crazy, like I would never do it again, but my goodness, that was the one and only time I ever felt like dancing, and I just couldn't stop dancing or talking.
Or talking, right?
This episode of the Missions Podcast is brought to you by ABC Swimming Pool Service. If you live in or around the San Antonio area, maintaining your pool is as easy as ABC. Contact them at abcswimmingpoolservice@gmail.com.
You've kind of established yourself as the Austin's aficionado. I mean, like, if somebody TripAdvisor may as well just say, you know what, listen to this guy's podcast, listen to the feedback.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've got the pulse of the city. You know, you got your finger on the pulse, and the accent doesn't sound Texan.
No, I'm French.
You're French?
Yeah, I grew up in France. Born in Senegal, West Africa, raised in France, came here when I was 16.
Wow. Okay, so you came to Austin at 16.
Yep.
And I guess you fell in love with the Austin City nightlife, as it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, my thing was that I didn't make that many friends at school because I didn't have time.
Right.
I had to keep up with the language, first of all, keep up with the studies.
Yeah.
And so it's not until when I got to college and I really started to be more social.
Yeah.
But the college I was going to, Southwestern University in Georgetown, just north of Austin, I was like, okay, now I want to see what this life has to offer. What does Austin have?
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on, and it's known for music, it's known for entertainment, it's known for the bars and the dance floors and all that stuff. And at the time, I was a big fan of dancing. Like, I was going out dancing all the time. It's really how I connected with people. You know, it's about going out, because I became friends with bartenders, with DJs, with other people who love to dance, other people who into the scene. And over the years, I kind of grew my network that way.
Yeah.
And I was that kid that everybody knew, oh, there's this dance freak, this guy, his name's Back. You'll never met anybody with a name like that, first of all.
Right.
And he's French, but he dances, and he's a nerd, and he loves computers and video games, and yeah, he's a social guy, and I was able to just navigate this whole thing.
So what made you decide to take it from just, okay, well, I'm going to enjoy going out and having a good time in Austin, to sharing it with an audience and
Well, I'm a strong believer that everybody has a story. Mm-hmm. Everybody has a story to tell. Like, my story is, I'm a kid who born in Africa, raised in France, moved to Austin. You know, that's my story. You know, and I think that people in a nightlife business or environment have something to say as well. I mean, I used to sit at bars, empty bars, just to talk with a bartender and ask him, what's it like to deal with drunk people every weekend?
Right.
You know, what kind of joy do you get out of it? And they would actually break it down. They would say, hey, you know, this is something I chose. I enjoy doing it. You know, I'm not on the 9-to-5 schedule. I enjoy that. So they will give me their perspective on it.
For sure.
Right. The same way that a DJ will have a different perspective. The same way that the guy who works the security at the door has a perspective.
That's true.
You know, and so my idea was, all these people can be at the same place, but have different perspectives on the same event, on the same environment. So how FeedBak started was, how do I put all these perspective in one place? How do I gather all these stories, all this insight, you know, that's out there? Because right now at the time, even still today, really, there's not really a place for people to express themselves and say, hey, I'm a bartender. This is the kind of stuff I deal with. Yeah. And if you get an understanding of that, maybe you have a better appreciation for what I bring to the table. As a bartender, as a DJ, as an artist, as a musician, as a dancer, as a performer. So it was really about getting all these perspective into one place. So that's how FeedBak started.
So that's brilliant in a sense, because you started out at a micro level looking at, okay, this is one club, and this is how each individual within the club has a different perspective on that nightlife. And now you've broadened it to the city of Austin, and you've covered everything from Uber getting kicked out to, you know, the different nightclubs and different events going on, music, and you're holding parties now for the FeedBak as well?
Yeah. So really, the way I started was I'd grown such a big network in Austin. And I knew the bar owners, the managers, the DJs, all of those people. And I thought, hey, how about I just throw a party? Like my launch party in 2010 when I launched FeedBak was one of my biggest ones because it was at Six Lounge right here, downtown Austin. And I was like, I want to do something different. It's not just a party, just to have a party. I'm launching an idea, I'm launching a concept, and the concept is a conversation about nightlife. So I thought, okay, how about we put together, book a couple DJs, good friends of mine to come play, not charging at the door, and get a red carpet in the backdrop.
Right.
Why not? And take pictures of people. We were the first to do it in Austin.
Yeah.
And then it got into, let's interview people at the parties. Ask them about some of the stuff that people talk about when it comes to nightlife. What do you think about girls who walk barefoot at 2 a.m. because their feet hurt?
Yeah.
I mean, because when you think about it, those are things that people already talk about. They just didn't have a platform to talk about it on.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how so every 3-4 months, I would just pick a place, get a couple of DJs, pick a theme. It could be, music by decades. It could be, let's do a flash mob dance. Let's do a fundraiser for a nonprofit here in Austin. But every time it was, let's do something different.
Yeah.
And let's still gather all these perspectives as well.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. I mean, so when you first came here, how did you compare Texas, especially Austin, I guess, to Paris?
Well, I left when I was 16.
Yeah.
So I can't say that I really knew the Paris nightlife. It's really when I started going back.
Yeah.
I was going back every summer to visit my friends.
Oh, okay.
It's really when I started going back that I, really got into the Paris nightlife. It's totally different. I think it's a different model. It's closer to what you would see in New York or big cities, LA, Miami, in the sense that, not everything shuts down at 2 o'clock. Actually, 2 o'clock is when it starts.
Really?
Yeah, people start late in France because they're at dinner till 1 a.m. Or till 12.
Point.
They take their sweet time, and you got, clubs don't close until 4, 5, 6, sometimes 8 in the morning.
Man.
Some of them give you breakfast. For real. No, but it's a different model, and I think Austin is unique that way.
Yeah.
Because we have so many options and so many bars. I mean, per square foot, there's a stretch that goes from Mopac all the way to 35 and past 35. I mean, I counted it one time. It was like from West 6 all the way to East 6. Just that. I'm not counting Rainy. I'm not counting Domain. It's already over 120 bars back to back.
Man. Wow.
Right? And you can go in and out just that easily.
Yeah.
It's not like Dallas where you spend $50. By the time you order your first drink, you already spent $50 on valet, cover, and drink.
So that's a lot of...
So unique. Austin is really unique that way.
Bar hopping is easy.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Do you cover South by Southwest?
No, I mean, this year we always do like a preview podcast where we tell people, hey, this is what we look forward to. This is how like every website and blog out there does like here's some tips on how to navigate South by Southwest. Right. And then after the fact, there's a recap and you go, oh, this was the best show. This was the best. We do that.
Yeah.
Same thing for ACL. Same thing for FunFest. I guess the main idea is how do you help people navigate the scene? It used to be you could tell someone, hey, just walk on 6th Street, you'll find something. Right. I mean, live music is huge. There's bar to bar. You can go in and out easily. Drinks are cheap.
Yeah.
But within the past 5 to 7 years, with all the people moving here and all these different pockets, appearing left and right, whether it's Domain, it's South Lamar, South Congress, it's East Side, it's MLK, it's 12th Street. It's harder it's gotten more complex.
For sure.
And so what I'm trying to do is get people to learn about the scene, and what better way to learn than from the people in it.
Yeah.
So if you had the perspective of an artist or a DJ or just a fan, I'm a fan of, Body Rock. I love going to Body Rock every first Friday, of the month. And if I told someone, Body Rock is a place to be on a Friday because A, B, C, D, because it's a dance party and it's, they always do a special tribute to an artist. It's like a family reunion type of party, and someone who had no idea, who was just stuck on West 6 every weekend, was like, oh, now I know. And I heard it from someone who loves it, someone in it, someone with credibility.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a much better way to promote the scene than just saying, having to do the homework, one, to do the research, and someone walking up to you and saying, here's a flyer, come to my event.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I don't mean to be rambling, but...
Oh, no, it's good.
Thank you.
By all means. Gives me less work to do. So, I guess, was it much of a shift or a culture shock for you to move here? Was it it seems like everywhere I've been, Texas has this bad rap. Like,
yeah.
You even see it on TV shows and stuff where, Texas has this bad rap. When people think of, like, rednecks and racism,
sure,
they think Texas.
Sure.
But in my honest opinion, I lived in Miami. I've lived up north, New York. I even lived in Wisconsin for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Of all the places I've been, Louisiana, maybe California and Texas almost have like the least racist feel to me. Like, especially Austin, San Antonio areas.
Right.
And maybe it's because everything's so well mixed. But I mean, how did you find that compared between Paris and
Oh man, all right, let's open this can of worms.
Yeah.
Let's just say that when my dad told us that we're moving to Texas, of course we had, our reference to Texas was Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yeah.
We had the show in France. That's all I knew about Texas.
Yeah.
Right. And all the stereotypes that come along with that, right?
Exactly.
You land in Austin and you're like, holy crap, they have trees and hippies and music and the lake. And I'm like, wow, this is not what I thought at all.
Is that a car? I thought they had horses.
Yeah, no shit. Right. Exactly. But I think it was, but France is more on the conservative side.
Really?
Yes. I think that one thing that, let's get political. France has a political party called the National Front, the extreme right party. They're like about 15% of the population votes for that party, and they're active in the sense that I remember growing up, there were cities where if some mayors of cities were part of that party, they would say things like, "Hey, we'll give your family some money if you can prove that your newborn is 100% French," like stuff like that.
Huh.
Yeah. And so France has always been known to be a very conservative country.
Yeah.
It's last in terms of rights and in terms of advancement for black people, Arabic people.
Wow.
And we have ghettos, we have projects all like around Paris. It's gotten to a point where, you might not get a job because your name sounds funny.
Man.
Like we have that kind of level of stuff. So coming here, I thought, this is better. This is the land of opportunity and American dream and blah 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 and all these things that people throw at this American culture. But I think that my advantage was that people couldn't really put me in a category because I'm not African American. Mm-hmm. I'm African, but I'm African. I'm not from Nigeria. I'm from France, so I'm African French. And for a lot of people, that didn't compute.
Yeah.
They were like, hold on. You're black. Yes. You speak French. Yes. You dance. Yes. You computer science major. Yes. I don't know.
What box do I shove you?
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of had both sides. I had the, hey, I don't know how to deal with you, so I'd rather ignore you, right? And then I had the people like, holy crap, I never met somebody like that.
I want to get to know you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the thing that I've I guess my luck was that by going out, and I met people from all kinds of different backgrounds, you know, that's how I connected with people. People were like, you know what? So yeah, you're French, you're black, you dance, you're a good guy. You know, you're not representing anything but yourself.
Right.
You know, and people got to know me that way. And one thing I'm very proud of is that I've been able to evolve in the scene. You know, call it socialite, however you want to call it. But I've never had beef with anybody.
Yeah.
You know, because it doesn't matter where you're from. If you treat people with respect, you know, you get it back. Typically. But I'm saying that, you know, I've never crossed anybody. Nobody's ever crossed me. I don't go around talking shit about people. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about me. And that's why I've been able to build this FeedBak thing.
For sure.
You know, if for some reason I was talking smack about a place, there's no way I could have, you know, thrown an event there. Because Austin is like a big high school.
Okay.
I always say that. It's a big high school. The degree separation is 2. Like, you'll meet someone, and then you find out that that person knows everybody you know. Or somebody introduce you to somebody, and you go, oh, I know that person.
Huh.
You know, it's like that. I don't know how it is in San Antonio, but Austin is still like a big high school in the sense that everybody knows everybody, and word travels really fast, especially if you're in the scene, quote unquote.
So kind of a city with a small town mentality.
It is. Doesn't matter how many people move here, there's still like this circle of people, especially, you know, Austin being known for its entertainment and music and everything. Like, if, for example, if you're a musician, right, and if you're doing things right, chances are you'll meet, you know, people like Rise Against the Storm, or you'll meet, if you're in the house scene, you'll meet Manny and Jesse Bretta and Toddy B. So it's kind of like there is this circle that's pretty wide, but it's everywhere.
Yeah.
In a sense that if you plug into one person, you're gonna meet the rest of the circle eventually.
I wish San Antonio was a little bit more like that.
Really? Is it really fragmented?
Well, a bit more, because I mean, for musicians, we find it very frustrating. There's not much support. You know, you can draw a crowd one night, but the next time you perform, that same crowd's not going to necessarily show up. People tend to stick to their own. There's a little bit less of that circle.
But is the scene pretty fragmented in the sense that you have downtown and you have maybe all the pockets that are...
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But it's just
I've been in San Antonio in a while.
Yeah, it's a different layout, and I think that's the reason why a lot of musicians that live in San Antonio will perform more in Austin.
Right.
Because they know that they can link up, and, you know, the same crowd goers are going to keep going back. Like, people who like the nightlife in Austin thrive on it a little bit more, I think, and return, you know, a little bit more. You know, they want to see the same DJ. They want to... You know, where a DJ in San Antonio is going to have a little bit harder time of getting like a following group that'll actually keep coming back. Yeah,
I mean, it takes time, and Austin is, you know, one thing I'm afraid of is that it will just become saturated.
Yeah.
Because it used to be that it wasn't, the access was easy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a DJ and you're looking for a weekly place to play at, it, you know, that was easy to do, and you can just build your following that way. I mean, I have countless stories of DJs and artists who kind of made themselves like the place to be at on any given night.
Right.
You know, or whatever night that, you know, that they had the thing going on.
Yeah.
But now it's gotten to a point where there's just so much. One thing you hear a lot about in Austin is there's so much. There's a lot of DJs, there's a lot of artists, there's a lot of bars, a lot of, you know, clubs, a lot of festival every weekend almost, you know.
So it's starting to get harder to latch onto that one name that you always...
Right, right. Because because the access is so easy that you can go to one place, and what's gonna keep you from going to the place next door,
Right.
or the place on the other side of town.
Yeah.
Knowing that everything closes at 2:00, you probably got down there at 12 or 11, whatever, and time ticks, time waits for nobody. So you gotta keep hopping, but you end up hopping all night long, and you never found something that was appealing to you.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Maybe you heard a performance of one song you thought was great, but dude, we had to hop, so we forgot to check who it was.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And then on top of that, you're rolling like 10 deep, so you got to chaperone everybody around. And I have a brand that's recognized.
Yeah.
The events I do always 200 plus people, always a good time, always something different venue, different talents. But I think that I'm on a mission.
Yeah.
To give back, no pun. To the community, for instance, there's I don't know if you follow this story, but a report came out last year and earlier this year about the state of the Austin as a music city, and Austin got a C- on a report card.
Wow.
The reason why it got a C- is because of things like venues are shutting down because you can't afford to pay their rent anymore. Red River was going through that. Holy Mountain shut down.
So property taxes going up?
Yeah. Property taxes going up. Can't afford it anymore. Got to shut down. The turnaround has gotten really quick. Also, musicians and artists or people in the nightlife business, their job is not the only thing they do. They might have full-time jobs, so they're not as committed to their art,
craft.
To their craft as they should. Another thing is people are not willing to pay $5 to go see a live show.
I know.
Because again, it's what's going on next door. That could be cheaper or even free, and I can still drink and So there's all these things going on, and so the mayor came out earlier this year and said, okay, we gotta do something about the music scene, because we can't call ourselves the live music capital of the world if we're not living up to it.
Right.
If artists, are moving out of town because they realize that Austin's become too expensive to live in, or even to make a name for yourself.
Or I think a big problem there, and this is just industry-wide, is it's become really hard to make a living as a musician or any kind of performance artist. Really, it's like, whether you want to blame Napster or
Napster.
Yeah,
you're going back. Yeah, you're going way back.
But whether you want to blame the birth of online downloads,
sure.
I suppose. It's gotten hard for musicians because basically CD sales or album sales, you get zero. You're not making money off album sales.
Yeah.
The best you can do is performance.
Mm-hmm.
And now if people don't want to pay to see you perform either, man, it's starting to,
Well, yes, but I think that there's a way I think there's just a lack of infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yes, you have all the tools in the world. You have your SoundCloud, you have your Spotify, you can make a video and put it on YouTube, and you have no barriers.
To be heard.
Right. But I think that the channels are there.
Right.
But I think for a city like Austin to claim to be so supportive of the scene, and yet musicians are just leaving left and right because they can afford to to live here or even make something happen here.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to do is, and I heard from all kinds of people, different scenes, whether it's the rock scene or the house and EDM or classical music or jazz, whatever it is. So there is a movement now to revive Austin music scene.
Good.
And so, what I'd like to do with FeedBak is, keep doing what I've been doing and give people that platform to become a music evangelist and say, hey, I know about this band and here's why you should check it out.
Yeah.
You have a lot of options every weekend. And it's understandable that not everybody has the time to keep up with the scene, and you still have to do research. But you just need a reason to get a babysitter on a Friday night to go check out this show at this place.
Yeah.
Or get in your car on a Tuesday and drive from Round Rock to downtown to Seaboys to go see Terrell Shaheed. So this is the void here is really in the conversation and in the how do you promote a scene in other ways than just who, what, when, where, and how much. If you don't give people a reason to go, they're not going to go.
Right.
Especially now. As long as I've been in this scene for 10 plus years, and I've seen the city grow and change and people come and go, I don't know everything. So I'll have somebody on that I know personally or I was introduced to,
right?
But I don't know about that scene much. Like I had my friend Jesse Breda. I kept seeing his name around for years, and I met the guy, great guy, and then he comes on the show and he tells me about the house and electronic music scene. And I'm like, holy crap, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And that's also good for me to learn, but also for everybody else.
Right.
Because if you get in that routine that, okay, well, I only go to this place, or I only hang out in this area, or I only go to shows where it's this kind of music, and you're like, Austin has so much more. You don't want to waste your time. You only have, if my theory is correct, about an hour and a half of solid partying.
Yeah.
If you take away the drive-in, the walk-in, the waiting in line, open the tab, close the tab, bathroom breaks, gather everybody around and move to the next spot.
To the last call.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have about an hour and a half. So you want to maximize that time. You want to make it count.
Yeah.
So what better way to learn about what's going on than from the people in it?
Right.
And so it's about getting the right information, for something that you're into, and becoming music evangelists, becoming scene supporters, and letting people know what's going on.
Yeah.
And because there's way too much information out there and it's hard to filter. I mean, Facebook
Absolutely.
is check-ins at the gym and baby pictures and cat videos.
Forget
and
about it. It goes
who cares?
on and on.
Twitter, same thing. And it's hard to navigate. And that's what I want to do
Right.
with FeedBak.
So you're narrowing down the search results.
Yep.
So are you still going out every weekend then?
Not as much. I make it count.
Yeah.
Just like, look, I'm not getting any younger.
Right.
I used to do 7 days a week, no problem. But I pick my spots.
Yeah.
I'll support. I mean, I know a lot of people in town, so they'll say, hey, I got this going on, and I'm like, all right, I'll come out and support.
Right.
And that goes a long way.
Sure.
There's no way I'd be able to do FeedBak if I didn't, put myself out there all these years to where I can walk into place and the DJ sees me and he go, oh, Back is here. I have to be on my I have to play some better stuff because Back just showed up.
Well, that's good.
Seriously, I'm a barometer to some DJs here in town.
Well,
But anyway, yeah.
that's good. Well, tell everybody where they can find you, man.
Yeah, the FeedBak everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. The FeedBak Podcast is on iTunes. You just look up FeedBak and SoundCloud also. Just look up FeedBak BAK because my name is Bak BAK, so it's the FeedBak. Yeah, just look it up. It's easy. And if you want to holler at me, look up Bak Z and some letters on Facebook and give me your feedback.
Z and some letters.
Yeah, I don't want to spell it all out. It's kind of...
He won't even spell his own name.
Z and some letters. Z-O-U and a bunch of letters. That's how I say it.
All right, well, Bak, I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you so
time.
much.
And, all right, man. Thank you.
Cool.
All right, well, that's it. Number 2 is in the can. Special shout out to Francisco Guerra for helping us out when we needed it the most, right at crunch time. Join us next time when our guest will be Ricardo Chavirra from Scandal, Desperate Housewives. Welcome to the family. And you probably know him best for his role as John Carver in Dead Space, if you're a video game geek. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Lex for letting me fuck up all these Spanish names when she could have just said them eloquently. Today's local music pick is The Grasshopper Lies Heavy. This is their song Hearts of Fire. on the album All Sadness Grinning into Flow. They're on Learning Curve Records and can be found at learningcurverecords.com.